Easy does it now. Easy, easy. Take it easy, Tarnished. You had a difficult day. Was that? Oh yes, yes. You died again. uh, I know. But it's not an uncommon occurrence here in the lands between. I'm sure that you're getting used to it by now. But here, come here, let me take a closer look at you. Maybe I can look at what you're equipped with and help you figure out why you're dying so much. Come here, come here. Oh dear. Yes. What you are wearing is definitely part of why you're dying all the time. How can I put this? No self-respecting troll or even demi-human would take you seriously with what you're equipped with right now. I'm sorry. I know it's just the truth. I'm honest because I care. Now the question is, what can we do about it for you? What can we do to improve what you're wearing? I have just the thing for you, or rather, this video's sponsor has just the thing for you. Into the AM are purveyors of the finest, elevated, everyday apparel. They are tailors of the finest quality, and they will ensure that you are outfitted with something that will make you proud to be traversing the lands between, that will strike fear or awe and wonder into the hearts of your opponents. What's that? Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Thank you for asking. Yes, I am currently wearing Into the AM. This beautiful graphic tee is an example of the kind of fine clothing that you can find from our allies at Into the AM. This particular design reminds me of the spirit jellies that float around through the lands between. You've no doubt seen them. Or this beautiful winged owl design that reminds me of the great owls that sit perched atop the cliffs at night time throughout the lands between. Or this mystical castle design that reminds me of the parapets and crenellations of the great Rea Lucaria Academy wreathed in magic. Or this beautiful all-over print design with its stars and nebulae that reminds me of the great night sky in the lands between. And perhaps you're looking for something a bit more substantial than a graphic tee, something that will allow you to take a couple of hits and stay in the fight. Well, Into the AM has you covered for that as well. They have hoodies, they have joggers, they even have underwear for you, and I can attest to the fact personally that they are very, very comfortable. Into the AM has all that and more. And what's even better is that if you use the link down below this here video, you will be able to save 1 in 10 runes on your expenditure. That's right, save 10% using the link down below this video or offer code the ASMR nerd at checkout, and you can take those runes and reinvest them into building up your skills so that you will look great and you'll be able to hold your own out there in the lands between. All thanks to our great allies at Into the AM. Thank you, Into the AM, for sponsoring this video, and make sure that you, dear Tarnished, click through on that link below and check out what Into the AM has to offer you. Hello, my friends. It's Nick, the ASMR nerd, and welcome back to the lands between in Elden Ring. Today we're going to be taking another relaxing wander through the lands between. And although they can be a perilous and frightening place, we will encounter none of that in today's soothing wander. We'll simply be taking in this gorgeous, fantastical landscape. We begin our wander today perched on a cliffside high above a swampy, mist-cloaked portion of the realm. This is Liurnia of the Lakes, and far away in the distance, that striking tower that you can see there is the Rea Lucaria Academy, looking very picturesque, towering over the misty lowlands. I don't think we're going to get all the way over there today, but we'll spend some time wandering this region, appreciating its natural beauty. And perhaps some of its unnatural beauty as well. There is great magic in this realm. Behind us here are the imposing walls of Stormvale Castle. With ornate crenellations reaching for the sky. But we're leaving that behind here. Oh, and look at that. As we gazed up at those mighty walls, some fog rolled in. It was bright and sunny but a moment ago. Now it's misty and moody. I do hope the sun comes back, actually. It's nice when it's sunny up here. There'll be plenty of fog and mist to enjoy down in the wetlands. This fellow here is a creature named Bok. Bok is a tailor. He's very good at what he does, and he seems to feel indebted to me. We'll leave Bok to whatever Bok does when he's not tailoring. The vivid trees in this part of Liurnia of the Lakes are reminiscent of those that we left behind not long ago in Limgrave. But that changes when we head down into the swamps. This is the ruined church of Irith. very aesthetic, with all the vines climbing up its crumbling edifice. Might as well take a look inside. The ancient walls are festooned with ivy and what was once a sacred interior has now been reclaimed by the wilds, with countless yellow flowers growing about the base of this beautiful weathered statue. And you might have noticed that we do have a fellow wanderer here. This is Tops. And Tops is apparently quite content to sit here in the pouring rain. Tops is a scholar and a student from the Rea Lucaria Academy, that magnificent building that we saw across the way just moments ago. He was sadly locked out of the academy, and now he seeks his opportunity to return. He believes that's where he belongs, although as far as sorcerers go, he's not especially talented. He knows it though, and despite that, he wishes to return. He's a good sort. Very agreeable chap, really. Up ahead, shrouded in fog, we can see the chapel of anticipation. Perhaps you've been there. It's where new Tarnished arrive in the lands between. It stands alone, separated from the rest of the land by pounding waves down below and a precipitous drop. But rumor has it that there is a way to get back there for those brave enough to seek it. Not by any normal physical means, of course. It does make quite the sight, perched on its cliff top like that. Yes, I had rather hoped that we might have a sunny wander today, but it looks like it was not meant to be. Oh, and perhaps just to prove me wrong, it looks like the sun has come out again. The skies are clouded but vivid. The clouds look alive, and the sunlight saturates these beautiful trees. Of course, the great Erd tree towers over all, casting its sacred light across the lands between. The cries of the deer are always a little bit disconcerting. They almost sound like a human shrieking. But that's just the local wildlife. Let's go take a gander at this graveyard over here. Some may find graveyards a bit morbid, and I suppose I can understand that, but this one is so beautiful, full of tumble down old tombstones, surrounded by overgrowth. Once again, nature reclaiming its own. This small mound is crowned by this tiny mausoleum with ornamented spires on top. And would you look at that? It looks like night might be falling. I think I see stars coming out. And here I thought we were going to have a nice sunny walk. But I do believe the sun is setting. Well, let's enjoy the last warmth of day while we can. The sun's final rays lighting up the edifice of Stormvale Castle. Some beautiful flowers around here. Look at these by our feet. One can't help but wonder who these tombstones once belonged to, or still belong to, I suppose. You know, maybe I was mistaken about the sun setting. Perhaps it's just uncommon to see a cloudless sky. Maybe those stars are always there. To say. It does still feel like the sun is quite high in the sky, doesn't it? Another shrieking deer. Look at the dappled shadows that the sun makes. Illuminating the leaves, making them glow with warm light. These little hopping creatures, I've never learned their name. I like them. They're just kind of everywhere. We just scared off a deer. Lots of roa fruit grows in these parts, as in Limgrave. These deer, though, strange creatures. Sometimes they seem scared of us, other times rather unbothered. And there once again, the Academy Rea Lucaria, sitting proud and mighty atop its cliff, lording over the lake below. It does appear that we might be approaching the later portion of the day. The light seems to be coming from a fairly low angle in this direction, but it's a bit hard to tell because the sun is behind the clouds. I think we still have some daylight yet. Although now that we've had our daytime walk in the sun, I would kind of like for a nighttime walk down in the swamp. It's very beautiful down there by night. Look at the way the fog rolls in off the water. The waves slowly rolling their way in as well, from parts unknown out at sea, crashing up against the massive cliffs far, far below. And the wind that moves those waves and the fog also moving our ropes. It is a stunningly beautiful landscape, is it not? Up ahead is a small encampment that was once occupied by guardsmen, but no longer. No idea why. More brilliant flowers. And a statue of America. You know, it looks like the guards that were once here have all fallen asleep. Sleeping on the job. Terribly unprofessional. Why someone could just wander in here, take everything, carry on by. Terrible form. Some soldiers they are. Sleepy guy. Ah, well. It is to be expected. This is a very relaxing wander, after all. The shadows are getting long. Look. You can see our shadow on the grass. The sun is definitely starting to set now. Shadows slowly lengthen, creeping their way across the landscape as the sun dips low in the sky. This is a lovely field of flowers here. More of these cute little bouncy fellows. There's the sun. Finally, we get to see it, making its descent towards the horizon. Oh, went behind a cloud. And as it did so, the sky turned golden. Look at those colors. I guess those stars must always be there behind the clouds. It's just not so often that we get to see behind the clouds. Many parts of the lands between are pretty stormy, dark, dramatic skies, but this area, the high cliffs behind Stormvale Castle, tend to be clear more often than not, I find. Let's watch the sunset from here. And then once it's turned to night, we'll descend into the swamp. Look at all the birds flying about. Many of them far, far out to sea. Looks like they're coming inland, perhaps to roost for the night. What is this? As if to make a fool of me, the skies are suddenly turning clouded. The rain has begun to fall. The sun has disappeared behind the rain clouds, although the last color of day is still tinting the distant sky. But you know what? I can't be upset, because even when it rains here, it is beautiful. And we get to listen to the pitter-patter of the rain. Rain is such a soothing sound. And I must say the gloominess of the rain definitely fits the nature of this swamp. Up ahead here, we have a friend, a traveling merchant. Let's go warm ourselves by the fire for a moment. A traveling merchant and his emaciated donkey creature. They always look so despondent. The donkeys, I mean, not the merchants. The merchants just look fascinating. I love their bizarre instruments they hold, and the hand on a stick they appear to play it with. Very interesting folk. I suppose he sleeps in this tiny little lean-to. Well, I think it's time we head into the swamp. The swamps of Liurnia Lake are full of crumbled ruins, fallen towers, rotting pillars. It appears there was once a great city here, but it's slowly being devoured by the swamp. No one has lived here for a very long time, that much is clear. And yet, somebody or something, some magic perhaps, keeps these lights lit to guide travelers through the murky waters. The rain has stopped, and now we can hear the frogs. If you listen carefully, you can hear them croaking. You can hear the water lapping. The swamps of Lake Liurnia are also full of these luminous crystal formations. They tend to grow at the base of trees, I've noticed. Between those and the magic lights, it never really gets that dark in the swamp, truth be told. This illuminated pillar, beautiful and ornate, was where I found a map for this region. And of course, I suppose the golden light of the Urge tree means that it's never really that dark anywhere in the lands between, except for well below ground, deep in the tunnels, the caves, the catacombs of these lands. It might appear at first glance that we are walking on water, but that's not so. In fact, it's simply very shallow here, as are all the lowlands in Liurnia of the lakes. I love these little motes of light dancing around us. What are they? Could they be insects? Or are they some sort of magic? I don't know, but they're very pretty. Somewhat whimsical, aren't they? The skies are clear once again after that passing rainstorm. Look at all the stars in the sky. These little motes of light dancing around look like they could just dance right on up into the heavens and join the stars, don't they? And now we can hear those frogs croaking all around us. But every once in a while, you do hear something else here in the swamp. The sound of distant bells ringing. And they say that if you follow the sounds of the bells, great evil will befall you. Look at that. Look at that moon in the sky. Gosh, that's pretty. Illuminated by, I suppose, the sun somewhere out there in the heavens. Love the sound of the water with each footstep. Just gentle. It's getting a bit windy. Look at the trees up ahead. A bit blustery. And in the distance, just fading into the fog, the Liurnia Academy calls to us. The light of grace reaches out for the Academy. I think at some point in a future wander, we will make our way there. I believe there is a great deal to see, and I think it could be very relaxing. But for now, I think we are going to stop here. Bask in the golden light of grace, the hallowed light from the earth tree, and the silvered light of the great moon hanging above the lands between. And the ethereal glow of a million stars across the sky. It's very peaceful here. The gentle lapping of the water, the sighing of the wind, and these luminous motes dancing about. Perfect place to take a little rest. Thank you once again for joining me on my journeys in the lands between. And I look very forward to having you join me again next time. Farewell for now, my friends.